I don't even have words. I literally have no words.
But right now, this entire contract proves, and the contracts that Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin have signed from day one have proved they're out of touch with what reality is with the Vancouver Canucks. We are a bottom 10 team that are acting like we're a top 5 team. What I don't like,
you can't you literally can't trade everyone. That's such a stupid concept that
to me,
so many fans are like, oh, we have to trade everybody. Trade the coach. The stands.
So 3 minutes ago, you rewind. Maybe this team's not good enough. How do you fix this team then if you're going to keep re-signing these core players?
Well, there never is. You and I have discussed this so many times. The CFL is their own worst enemy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the May 11th edition of the Hughes Sports Podcast. I am your host, Jake Hughes, and across from me, the old man. How the hell are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I don't know what you were doing over there, but he was entertaining.
I was trying to mess with you before we went live, and it worked.
I think it messed with you more than anything.
Hey, it's May 11th, so I just want to go back. I believe your uncle, my brother, Uncle Jack, or Brother Jack, is watching. So let's say happy birthday to Brother Jack.
Happy birthday, Uncle Jack.
Uncle Brother Jack.
If you don't know who we are the Hughes Sports Podcast. We cover the Vancouver Canucks, BC Lions, CFL in general, breaking news as it happens.
And all kinds of other shit.
All sorts of other things. We got things to talk about today, I guess.
What you want to talk about?
Do you want to talk about the news that just broke a couple hours ago, or do we want to talk about
let's do the breaking news. Ding 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 breaking news.
Ryan Reynolds and the Remington Group have announced that they're dropping their bid for the Senators, meaning Ryan Reynolds will not be the owner of the Senators. Now, when I was looking into this a couple hours ago, there was not a lot of information as to why, but just that it was happening.
Probably because Snoop Dogg put his name behind another group.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg.
I don't know who that group is, and I don't want to get myself in trouble by saying anything about a group of investors putting a bid in on a team, but I believe, did we not hear late last week, or was it early this week, that Snoop Dogg has put his name into a group to buy the Senators?
I think it was a couple weeks ago.
Google
it. Led by Los Angeles-based businessman Neko Sparks.
Yes, that's the guy.
And The Weeknd, I don't know if you know who that is, a very famous Canadian rapper, is also part of another bid of the with Toronto billionaires Jeffrey and Michael Kimmel, according to the Ottawa Sun.
Yeah.
Apparently. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm reading breaking news as we're on air here. According to sources, as per ESPN.com, according to sources, Ryan Reynolds' request for an exclusive window to complete the deal was denied, which led Reynolds to pull out of the process. The deadline for interested groups to submit final non-binding offers is May 15th. So 4 days away. And,
so I wonder if the Reynolds Group might go somewhere else.
It also could be...
In other words, is there other teams in the NHL that could be up for sale if the price is right?
I think Arizona's got to fit that bill if the Tempe arena deal does not come through.
Which sounds like it's not going to. It sounds really bad for them.
I was speaking with someone who lives in the Phoenix area.
Yeah.
And it's very split. There's lots of news going both ways. It's like a full-on election campaign down there just for this.
Yes.
It's going to be pretty big numbers of turnout. They're expecting high numbers of turnout for this.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's good to be engaged as a voter, obviously.
100%.
But a lot of times when they have that many people engaged, it's usually not a good thing, because usually that means it's not going to happen. People don't get engaged unless they're worried that it's.
But there's a lot of business that's riding on this development.
Huge.
Like
Huge.
thousands
There's
of
probably
jobs.
going to be lawsuits because it's the States and people in the States love to sue for money.
So the
Go ahead.
Coyotes have already countersued the city of Phoenix for the city of Phoenix suing Tempe. Yeah.
Sometimes you just.
It makes.
You got to bring the mic a little closer. You got to pick up your water, and yes, it's just water today.
Thank God. Last week was a complete
bit of a sip. And you got it wasn't last Monday. It was last Thursday. I was drinking.
I said Monday. Then I meant last week.
Yes. And you just got to go. People need to calm down. This whole I'm suing you. Oh, shut up. Let people be.
It's
Let
part.
People live.
It's part of the American culture, though.
Oh, it is. America is very Sioux heavy.
Well, it's a very different culture than up here in Canada, where
it is.
We hold and it's little things that I've noticed going down to the States the handful of times that I have, quite a few times for my age, but it's holding the door open for someone. It's saying thank you after you buy a coffee. It's
common courtesy. Oh.
That name is dead, though. That name is dead.
What were you saying? Sorry, I went blank.
No, it's just a very different culture down in the States when it comes to that sort of stuff with suing people, and it's a much more combative. There's too many people. There's too many people in their cities. Going to Phoenix in early January, too many people.
Too many people, goddammit.
And too goddamn hot. It's like 38 degrees Celsius.
I'll never forget that. Jake's going to Phoenix, and I'm like, Jake, get ready. It's hot. Like, it's going to be really hot. And he goes, yeah. I've been in hot before. We've been down in Vegas. And I'm like, okay.
No, to be clear, I have been to Vegas with you
July.
And in other groups in the middle of July where it's 50,000 degrees Celsius. This was in May. This was in May. This is spring weather. This was last year.
And he sends me a message, and it's like, oh my God, I feel like a turkey being cooked.
The only way I can describe it is the sun tries to kill you, and you have to pollute because you have to turn on your air conditioner. If you're not running it's a lose-lose situation. Who wants to live there? Give me the warm weather during the wintertime. Just give me mild weather. Give me like 18 degrees all year round. That's all I need. I don't need anything crazy.
Oh, give me above 30 all year round. I'll be happy, man.
Well, you're in luck because we're getting that this week here in California.
Yeah, that's what they keep telling me. I'm waiting.
But back to sports.
Yes.
A recent. Sorry, I just want to get this through.
Yeah.
Still in the ESPN article, a recent Forbes valuation put the Senators at $800 million. The Remington Group's bid was believed to be worth more than $1 billion, according to sources.
Interesting.
So, where do you go next here if you're the Remington Group with Reynolds? Because Reynolds just joined the group financially, of course, but mainly as a figurehead.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, if you look at the success he's had in Wrexham,
this is a serious group that wants to own a team. Like, this isn't just a bunch of people in Alberta putting together a bid to attempt to buy, let's just say, the Calgary Flames. This is a group of people that have $1 billion liquid cash that they can go, bloop, give me a team.
But I don't know what teams. I don't think they're going to go away, but I don't know if they'll have the media attention in bringing in Ryan Reynolds unless it's a Canadian team. That's just how I feel about it.
You're not going to buy Edmonton.
No.
Vancouver? Can you buy Vancouver for? It would probably be closer to the $2 billion if Ottawa's one. Vancouver, you would think, have to be higher. Maybe I'm just saying that.
Edmonton,
Obviously,
Calgary.
I'm a fan.
But Edmonton's higher. Calgary with their new arena deal would be higher. Winnipeg would be the only one that I could see being on par.
And it's not going anywhere. I can't see it. The only team I could see being sold right now is maybe the Canucks, and Ryan Reynolds being a West Coaster.
The only reason I say I can't see it is because Luigi, the patriarch of the Aquilini family, is still alive. And Francesco has mentioned it in passing, and it's been rumored by people who are close with Francesco that they want to win one for Luigi. That's the push. That's why they keep pushing to try to win. But
what about me?
Until he passes, I can't see the Aquilini family wanting to part with it. And even after that, I can't see them parting with it.
Probably. Could be. Who knows? It'll be interesting to watch over the next X amount of months to see if anything comes to fruition in a couple different places that we know about. Yes. I know one person that if it happens, they will lose their fucking, I can't swear. They will lose their damn mind. You want to see a podcast? You want to see someone come completely unglued? The guy sitting on my, well, I guess you're on my left. Is everybody else, or is it you on my right?
I'm on your left, but you
this
point
is
with your
left.
right. No, you point with your right hand and say left. Welcome to Broadcast TV, sir.
Anyway, it just opens up so much interesting chat that, and I'm choosing my words carefully, folks, for a reason. But it does open up a real can of worms in a lot of different markets. And even down in the States, like what team is available in the States? Or is there going to be a CFL team now?
Well, and there's so many things. I mean, Ryan Reynolds loves sports. I doubt you've watched it, but his Wrexham FC show on Disney Plus in Canada, Hulu down in the States, him and another actor named Rob McElhenney, they bought I think it was 5th tier soccer team.
Yeah.
Now that team is now in the 2nd top league, and so, like, the show goes into, and I honestly believe, and they talk about it in the show, and I haven't watched past season 1, I don't think, or partway through season 1. They don't talk about money all that much.
Oh,
but
really?
When they do talk about money, it's we're losing money. We're investing in the future. We're investing in a new field. We're investing in this. I honestly, so many people are like, oh, now Ryan Reynolds doesn't need the group. They've got money because they're in whatever the Nation League or whatever it is. No, he's probably just barely breaking even.
Yeah, because he put out a ton of money to get there.
Just to buy the team and then get it up to par. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're making money off of the Wrexham FC show.
Yes.
They're not idiots. They're very smart, intelligent business people. Look at Ryan Reynolds' history.
Well, that's where I'm like, do they give up on an NHL team and do they try buying? Because they love teams. They love sports, obviously. Yep. And I'm saying the Ryan Reynolds brand, because I'm sure there's more than just Ryan involved in the Ryan Reynolds brand. Are they the team that Ambrosi should be freaking picking up his phone, Ambrosi being the commissioner of the CFL, and saying, yo, Ryan, what do you think about the Atlantic?
Yeah. Who honestly, if you're going to expand, you're expanding with one team? Quebec. Or, I mean, does Edmonton need new owners? Does
well, again, Edmonton not community owned along with Saskatchewan?
I thought Saskatchewan was the only community owned. I could be wrong on that.
I could be wrong too. Mr. Google. You talk. I
Google machine. Yeah. I mean, I'd be shocked if he was to come to football, CFL, and own a CFL team. But I mean, who would have thought he would go in it with another actor to buy a footy team?
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
So never say never, but
yeah. So Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, and Edmonton are still community owned.
Okay, cool. So
yeah,
so that would leave Vancouver or BC Lions, which was just purchased a couple years ago by Mark Doman. The Calgary Stampeders, who are owned by Calgary Sports and Entertainment.
Possibility.
Montreal was just sold this year.
Yes,
not going to happen.
That's out of the question.
Toronto is owned by MLSE.
That's not happening.
Maple Leaf Sports.
You never know. I shouldn't say not, but
I wouldn't say never, but it wouldn't surprise me, but it would still be shocking.
Yes.
Ottawa.
Hamilton.
Ottawa.
Yeah. I just think any team right now isn't going to be, they're not going to give up right now because they're that close to actually making good money, I'll say. If we can get a 10th team in, balance the schedule, start earlier, as Ambrosi said. He wants the season to be starting now, like in May. And
I'd love for that.
Be finished in October.
I'd love for that for a multitude of reasons. But one, you're playing most of your games during the sunniest months. You're not playing into the winter that is Canada. And B, limited weeks up against the NFL. If you can limit the number of weeks you're up against the NFL,
that's the key, right? Because you figure, when does the NFL start?
That's a very good question. Let me Google that.
September, October.
This year it starts August 3rd is their preseason.
August what?
August 3rd is the first preseason game.
And when does their season start?
September 7th.
Yeah. So if you can end by the end of September, early October,
have the Grey Cup in October, perfect.
Yes.
And to everyone listening right now, I love the winter snowy bowls. I love the terrible weather and it's part of the game. No, it shouldn't be, because it's sloppy, terrible football.
Yes, it's tradition. You can't break tradition.
Well, let's go back a little bit here. Let's go back to history and into the history books. The Grey Cup used to be a best of 3 series. Why did we break tradition then?
Exactly. Actually, it wasn't best of 3. It was it was 2 games and the scores combined.
Oh,
because you remember I had the 1964 Grey Cup thing, and the first one was played in Calgary. The second one was played in BC.
I thought it was a third. I thought there was...
No, it was 2. Definitely, 100%. 2. 2, I tell you.
The commitment to what you're just saying right now, I'll trust you, but I don't believe you. Now, something that I think you said, something along those lines of, I trust you, but I don't believe you. JT Miller has decided...
Still, when you told me this today, I blew a cork, but go ahead.
JT Miller has, it's been announced, I guess, that JT Miller is attempting to qualify for the U.S. Open. The U.S. Open website says it is rare when a current professional athlete seeks to qualify for the U.S. Open. National Hockey League standout JT Miller is such a competitor. I am paraphrasing because you guys know that he plays for the Vancouver Canucks. While he shoots left-handed on the ice, Miller swings his golf club from the right side, which is quite weird. That is something that that makes no sense to me.
It makes sense to me.
To be able to join the U.S. Open, you have to have a handicap below 1.4.
Wow.
I don't know what that means.
So let's say par. I think if par is 72, you have to be shooting 73s. Is that right? I don't know. That sounds right to me. That sounds good. We got a couple people listening. If you're a golf fan, what is a handicap? I believe that's what a handicap is.
How do you, to quickly figure out your handicap should be, you need to subtract your number of strokes with the overall course rating. For example, on an average par 72 course, if you were to finish with 100 strokes, you would subtract 72 from 100 and receive a handicap of 28. You said it the other way around.
No. So If you have a handicap of 1.4, right,
you're
plus
shooting
1.4, you have to be able to be shooting 73s.
Yeah, you said it
74
backwards.
at the biggest.
You said it backwards
Oh,
originally.
no, yeah.
Yeah. So he's shooting a 73, and has records of that clearly. He will be playing at a club at the Club of Nevillewood in Presto, Pennsylvania on May 15th. So
does that mean he's going to quit playing hockey and go play
no, he's going to make way too much money. He's not even guaranteed to make it to the US Open. He has to Miller will be battling 77 other golfers on May 15th for just 4 qualifying spots. So not even 5% make it through.
Yeah.
If he qualifies, the qualifying, the move on to the final qualifying, which runs between May 16th and June 5th. The US Open runs from June 15th to June 18th. So he could be, if he makes a run at anything's possible, it's golf. You could have a great day on the golf course and shoot. He could shoot under par, 2 under par on a course and make it.
Yes.
Then he has to qualify again with more golf. So people looking at it, and I've seen a lot of comments online being like, he should be putting his training first. You know what I think? You know what I think about this? Because what's our biggest complaint about JT Miller this year? His frustration and his anger.
Yeah.
What's
so
golf?
This might be
golf is a mental game.
Yes.
Golf is a game where you...
That was Jake telling me to move the mic closer to my mouth, folks. Just anybody that's watching, that's what that movement was. Thank you, Jake.
Golf is a game that you are competing against yourself every single time.
Yes.
So maybe this is just what the doctor ordered, for him to be able to control his anger and his mental game.
And I mean, can you play golf and be out of shape? Yeah, you can. I mean, look at what's his face.
Yeah, what's his face? That one golfer.
Fancy clothes guy, way kind of large. Anyway, can you play golf when you're overweight and out of shape? Yes. But you look at the top pros, they're in freaking shape. You look at Tiger Woods. I mean, that kid's ripped. So, yeah, you can definitely, it's going to be good for him. It's not affecting the hockey. So
if anything,
it's just weird. It's just, it was one of those, when you said it, I was like, well, that's weird. Why? I don't understand, but sure.
You also got to look at it. I mean, for the last 3 seasons, you've been eliminated early. We know JT Miller, based off of his reactions and everything, he is a very competitive human being.
Yes.
It would be hard to see someone like JT Miller not be competitive at every single turn in his life. So during the offseason, when everyone's golfing and having a good time, I guarantee you he wants to be there being number 1.
Oh,
there's a reason he's in the NHL and is as good as he is in the NHL.
Yeah.
He has that drive in him. And it might be just one of those things where someone said it. Oh, you can't do that.
Make a bet. Watch
All right,
me.
let's go. Yeah.
Watch me.
I'm a competitive person. I'm nowhere near as competitive as NHL athletes are. Any athlete is.
Well, yeah, exactly.
If someone tells me I can't do something,
you're going to try.
Watch me do this.
Just because.
Yeah.
Just because. So good on him. I mean, at first I was like, well, that's weird. But now I'm more leaning towards, good on you, buddy. Good on you. That's a hand clap. That's a Kevin hand clap. Golf clap.
Might as well try, right? I mean, he's 30 years old. So he's like over the hill in hockey age nowadays.
Yeah.
It makes me sick to think that me and JT Miller are the same age. It just freaks me out. Think about that. I am the same age as JT Miller.
Why can't you be making money like JT Miller and after your old... Let me finish. And looking after your old man.
Well, time out. First off, we don't know that JT Miller looks after his old man.
Well, but secondly, you would, because you're a good kid.
Secondly, no one taught me how to golf. I could have been a world-class golfer. Don't. It's not true. I went golfing for the first time last year. It's not true, folks. I'll just leave it at that. Golfing is not my strong suit.
You said anything about golfing. I wanted you to play hockey or football.
Time out. I would have loved to play hockey. I would have loved to play hockey.
No.
Can
you imagine your hockey mom?
Oh God. Well, I'm having flashbacks.
It would be like a dance mom on steroids.
Again, while I'm having traumatic flashbacks here.
I hope that she's not watching.
Do check out hughsports.ca. There's going to be all sorts of post articles, episodes of the show, including our Hughes Sports Bracket Challenge, which, as I'm talking, I'm pulling up the scores for because I believe, because I don't think much has changed standings wise, and he's just
it can't because we're still in round 2.
Haven't teams moved on yet? No one's moved on yet, have they?
No one's won yet.
So we still have the old man in number 1, DJ number 2, Weggy 18, P Golden, Bros Before Ahos, Bender all tied for 3, Cam tied for 7, Hard to Yandel tied for 8 or at 8th, and me myself at the bottom of the 12 member scoreboard, but in 9th with 23 sad points out of a maximum of 23 sad points.
You literally got 0 out of the first round.
I got 2 people in the first round, and I don't have them moving on.
No, because we picked teams. Oh
yeah,
no,
I had 2 teams move into the second round, correct, and I had them being eliminated this round in round 2. So there's no points I can get.
No.
Yeah, no, because so I went with the upset in the Edmonton LA series, which was almost right. Like that, I think was probably the best of my underdog.
Hold on. How do you almost get something right?
I mean, it was down to a game 7.
But that's like saying we almost won a cup. We didn't win a fucking cup.
But we did almost win a cup.
We did
almost win a cup. We did almost win a cup.
We didn't.
We have twice as a franchise been 1 game away from winning a Stanley Cup. And both times.
Well, we've been into the finals 3 times. Yes.
2 times we've been 1 game away from winning the Stanley Cup. Both times we have righted after those sets of games.
Actually,
on to happier.
Yeah.
Oh, you were in the middle of a thought process there.
Nope.
On to happier tones. In 3 days.
Before you get to that, can we go to the NHL update? Because it's something you and I didn't talk about this afternoon when we were texting. Did you hear or see the slash in the Edmonton game on?
I did.
What's his name? Draisaitl?
Yes, I did see it, and I saw that he somehow got the instigator in that brawl.
I didn't watch any of it, and I was so busy today, I didn't get a chance to even look it up. But from what they I was literally listening to Fan 960 here in Calgary, and they were saying he skated across the ice, readjusted his hands, and took a chop.
Here, let us get in trouble.
Are we going to get in trouble? Why not?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. It's bizarre. And now the question is, has there been suspensions?
Just sounds off, so we're not going to be able to listen to sounds.
Okay.
Let's go back here a little bit as it loads. Oh, a little bit further back. Again, this was not planned, so I was not prepared to have this clip up.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, this is my fault. I kind of dropped this on Jake at the last minute. There goes.
So we'll see the replay here.
Yeah. Oh!
2-handed slash, and he came from the center of the ice to do it.
So he he readjusted his hands to chop him. Watch him. He readjusted his hand. Ow!
And I'm going to and then McDavid gets
McDavid
goes
after him.
I
love it. Don't be hurting my boy.
I'd like to thank our good friends at Sportsnet for allowing us to air that.
Way to get us in trouble again.
On Twitter, there's a content creator that I follow named Sin, and Sin commented he's had a love-hate relationship with the Vegas Golden Knights, as in he loves to hate them. But he pointed out something that I think a lot of people are realizing. The honeymoon period for the NHL and standard fans, casual viewers, is over for the Vegas Golden Knights. Because
yes,
there's been some questionable at best hits and plays that the Golden Knights have had to happen, were the cause of, especially in this series against Edmonton, where you have no excuse for. It's not hockey plays, it's straight up you're gooning.
Horrible gooning.
It's Vegas Golden Knights. I expect nothing less.
But you look at someone like Pietrangelo, he doesn't have a history of doing this kind of stuff, does he? And that I mean, this is like a Marchand freaking kind of thing. This is that big, tall Boston guy, Lurch, huh? Chara. So that's his kind of move. I was like shocked when I heard it.
So, talking about player safety and a decision. So, Edmonton's Darnell Nurse has been automatically suspended for 1 game, and Coach Jay Woodcroft has been fined $10,000 for instigating in the final 5 minutes of regulation. That's a bog standard rule. If you instigate a fight in the last 5 minutes of a game, and you get an instigator penalty, you miss a game.
And Nurse did that.
I don't blame him.
But where's the suspension for?
1 hour ago, so brand new, fresh off the press. Basically, 20 minutes.
Breaking news.
20 minutes before we started the podcast, Vegas's Alex Pietrangelo has been suspended for 1 playoff game for slashing against Edmonton's Leon Draisaitl.
What? 1 game?
So you have again going. It's a joke of a system. To be completely honest, we all know that it's a joke of a system. Player safety, in my opinion, is there to make a mockery of the league, because that's what they do. They allow people like Brad Marchand. To get away with things because he's viewed as a superstar. They view certain people in a certain light, but Raffi Torres needs to be taken out of the league.
Yeah.
That's still one thing that bugs me, because some of the shit I've seen, Brent Seabrook, Patrick Kane, the entire Blackhawks organization, Brad Marchand, did I mention Brad Marchand was minimal in comparison to Raffi Torres, who all he had to do was, because he was a smaller guy, to hit people the way he did, he'd leave his feet when he did it. He wasn't jumping. Yeah. He wasn't jumping at people's heads like the league tried to portray it as. He jumped and hit people in the shoulders or blew them up in the chest. Nowadays, we look at that and that's a clean, good hit, as long as you don't leave the feet. But when you're shorter than everyone else, how do you blow people up? You have to leave your feet. It's insane. But in the playoffs,
there's a good question for an old-time hockey player, maybe one time when I'm have access to them, like Theo Fleury. Did you leave your feet a lot when you hit?
Yeah. Just ask.
Yeah. Because it's true. Like, if not, you're going to hit me in the belly.
Yeah. Which, like, if I'm hitting someone, like if I'm trying to hit a player like not JT Miller, like Tyler Myers, who's 6'7", I'm 5'11".
You have to leave your feet.
Not just that, but if I'm going to try to knock him over or affect him in any way, there has to be a full momentum of my body.
Yes. Now, we don't skate. We're not professionals whatsoever, so we could be totally wrong. But how that hit, and I heard about it, and now I've seen it, intent to injure is the only purpose of that hit.
Yeah.
That wasn't his man. He wasn't trying to take him out of the play. He wasn't rubbing him out on the boards. He had his head down and he hit him.
He wasn't trying to whack a puck out of the air and accidentally slashed him.
No,
those are acceptable excuses.
This was total intent to injure. There was no other purpose in that slash across his hands then intent. What other purpose could there be? Send a message. He meant to do it. If I come up and
that's
punch
where I
you
was
in the,
coming.
let me finish. If I come up and punch you in the face, the only reason, my only intent is to hurt you.
Yes.
Same thing. This wasn't in the game of play. This was not part of hockey. This had nothing to do with the game except you have a guy who lost it, who literally went and hacked at somebody. It's not hockey. Get him out of the game.
It's not hockey, and I don't know when it was in the game. I believe it was in the third period, and the game was already put away at that point.
In the last few minutes of the game. It was like way in the last.
I think that's what's the ensuing incident to start Darnell to start a fight.
Yes.
However, I'm not saying it's a good hockey tactic.
What are you saying?
One game, which the way player safety looks at it usually is one playoff game is worth 2 regular season games. However, is Edmonton now going to go look to try to take someone out? Is Edmonton going to try to look for retaliation and come off their game?
With the series tied 2-2.
Yep.
They now
go back. Series.
They go back to Edmonton for game 5.
No, they go to Vegas.
Oh, sorry. They go to Vegas for game 5.
Yeah.
Game 6, back in Edmonton, and he gets to play.
Yep.
Because they're going to play a game 6.
Yep.
There's going to be a game 6.
Yeah. No matter what, there's game 6. Yep.
This has been one of the freaking chirpiest. I don't want to say old style. There you go. Old style hockey there's ever been that I've seen in years. Like I'm going back. This is old time hockey. This is hack 'em whack 'em. Hockey, like hack 'em whack 'em sack 'em.
I was talking with a friend today about it, and it's an entertaining series. It's not good hockey. That's the best way to describe the series. It's dramatic. There's things going on. There's storylines coming out of everything, but it's not good hockey.
It's not. Your buddy Dom is asking a question. Is Bettman in their ear, the disciplinary board ear, saying take it easy, knowing dirty plays and big hits make the news and therefore bring in viewership?
It could. I also think that the NHL has a certain amount of stars because the NHL only allows so many big name stars to be around.
Yep.
If you look and I always try to compare apples to apples. If you look at the NBA, there are names. You have a bunch of different players who have personality and have flair. You get an interview from one of them, you could find there's going to be juice out of it because they're going to say something that a PR expert would be like, "Oh, you shouldn't have said that."
Yes.
Now cut to an NHL interview. Yeah, we tried real hard out there, but their game was a bit better than ours. We need to get the puck in deep, and Demers out there, he played his heart out, and we're going to regroup and we're going to come back next game, and we're going to really put things together.
Every NHL interview ever.
And it's frustrating when you don't get the win, but I believe we have the team in the locker room that's really going to pull it together. Like the NHL is so the MLB is the same way. You have very few stars in the MLB who aren't afraid to revolt against the norm.
Well, you don't have you don't have the personalities like you do in the NBA. The NBA is full of personality.
Because you're not allowed to. Look at PK Subban. Now that he's not in the league, look at him. Even when he was in the league, he was still the most personable personality.
And he used to get in shit.
Constantly. And you know who used to give him the most shit? And it blows my mind. Don Cherry used to give him the most shit. Because he's, the guy used to wear crazy suits, have opinions on things. God forbid someone else wears crazy suits.
And has opinions. But if you look at the CFL, I look my buddy, Arland Bruce III.
Yep.
He was outspoken. He was controversial. I can remember scoring touchdowns in 2011, putting the Spidey Man mask on. He got fined. He made a phone call in the end zone. He got fined.
But football has that sometimes.
But you need to have that. In my opinion, that is what is going to attract viewers.
100%.
Have that personality. Have that. Why do we watch wrestling?
It has not. You know what? It's very entertaining. The athleticism is great. The storytelling sometimes very iffy, but it's the characters. It's the way they draw you in. If I'm the Canucks, which clearly I have no relation to anyone in the Canucks, even though I share the last name of a group of very successful brothers, one that plays on the Vancouver. We share a last name with like three. I'm just saying. I'm just making it very clear. There's no association to anyone in the NHL. If I'm the Vancouver Canucks, when the Islanders and Bo Horvat come to town, I'm replaying Bo's comments constantly. I'm building it up.
Yes.
I'm putting it in the ear of the reporters. Hey, we want you to ask these questions. Not that organizations do that, but organizations do that.
And because now you can make him out, Bo out to be, wrestling term, the heel, and the Canucks are the baby face.
Go on to the Canucks Reddit subreddit. Go on to any Facebook group. Go on to any Twitter. But we never liked Bo. Bo was a terrible captain, and we didn't like him. All because he said it was fun to be in a playoff chase.
A lot better than Vancouver.
It's true.
He didn't need to say that part. I liked it, but he didn't need to say that part. It was kind of one of those oops.
Yeah, when you go to someone,
but it was effective.
And you criminally underpay them or offer them a deal and get upset that they don't take $3 million under what he signed for.
We're going to rehash this again.
No, we're moving on.
Okay. Thank you.
Have you watched much of the NHL playoffs?
I've little bits here and there. I kind of pay attention to it just because I have to, because it's part of my job now. And people expect me to know because they talk to me and I'm like, I'm a salesperson. Do I have to know this shit? So I have been paying attention. It's been fun so far. It's been very unpredictable. You don't know who's going to win from night to night.
Well, looking at it, you've got the two West series, both tied at 2. Then you have your East series where you have storylines of the teams that, like you got the Toronto Maple Leaf story of, okay, they finally got into the second round. Can they do anything?
Oh my God. I watched this. I watched the greatest clip today. No, we won't play it. But it was basically a guy in a Toronto uniform and he's like, well, I thought we were in Florida golf. Is there really a second round? No way.
I shared that.
There's no second round.
I shared that with you, right? The TikTok.
Yes, that was you. Yes, I didn't know who I got it from. Yes. That was hilarious.
I want to come back to the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm just literally going in order of how I see them.
Yeah.
Carolina, New Jersey. I can honestly say I've watched 0 seconds of the game. I've watched highlights, and it looks like Carolina is just a better team all around. Mm-hmm. Then you've got the series we just talked about, the insane Vegas Golden Knights Oilers, and as I said, I was talking about it with a friend today, and both teams have a style. Vegas, they push, and they don't stop. If they're up 5, they're still pushing. The Oilers rely on a long stretch pass with a shell of a defense. Neither team is backing down on the style they play. Both teams.
I always like when someone watching comments. So Dom comment says, "Devils losing so bad it makes the Rangers look even worse."
But I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
They're in overtime.
Who?
Devils Hurricanes.
What's the score?
2-2 in end of regulation, so they're going into overtime.
Nice. So, I mean, by the time this podcast is over in the next 15 minutes, we could have our first team moving on.
We could. And then tomorrow, I mean, how many in the first round, how many games were tied at 2-2? How many series?
Oh, in the first round?
Yeah.
In the first round, I think it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
It was a lot of teams, and that became the best of 3, right?
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of game 7s.
Yeah, you had Seattle Kraken. You had there was only 3 game 7s, but all the other ones were in 6.
Yeah,
there was 5 game 6s. No, 4 game 6s, 1 game 5 because Vegas won 4-1.
But it's been an interesting play. It's been an interesting playoff as for a fan of hockey and being able to sit back and actually just kind of watch.
Casually.
And like I say, I haven't watched a whole lot of games, but I've watched the last third period of games. When we get finished watching a show, I'll fire it on. And it's interesting to listen to the fans. And I listen to a lot of fans nowadays, obviously, with this show and paying attention to the Rod Peterson show. It's interesting to sorry, I'm just going to try to finish my thought here. It's because it's hard to get this out. It's interesting to see how one-sided fans really are.
Yeah.
And as a biased guy, I'm watching it and I'm like, well, that was a penalty. Like, yeah. And
you're unbiased.
Yeah, sorry, an unbiased fan. And I'm like, yeah, that was a penalty. It had to be called. And fans losing it. And then I laugh at myself and I'm like, oh God, when my memories come up right now in Facebook, I'm losing my mind every other day on the Canucks refs, right? So we are, when you're a fan of a team, you lose perspective.
100%.
It's always the ref's fault. If you lose, it's always the ref's fault.
Or one player. You focus your energy on one player, like a goaltender who's now in the Hall of Fame.
Oh my God.
We almost went through
big effing whale.
Sorry, before you move on and start ranting about the best goalie we've ever had as Vancouver Canucks team, we almost went a full episode. We almost went a full episode without you mentioning your friend Rod Peterson.
I pointed to my hat.
I know. I said we almost made it through a full episode until you mentioned it there. The last series is the.
Why you gotta be like that?
Seattle Kraken and the Dallas Stars tied at 2. I've been keeping a closer eye on this one again in passing. Coach, my roommate, also known as Dom, has decided he's also a Kraken fan because he can have a team in the East and the team in the West.
Oh yeah.
So I think that maybe a discussion for another day, but I think both organizations should make it special when they play each other. Find out how many times you play each other a year and make it a hit. Canucks and Kraken.
Oh, yes.
It's what, Battle of the I-35? Is that what it is? The road?
The I-5.
I-5. The Battle of the I-5. And 35. Where's 35?
I have no idea. It's the I-5.
Well, there's at least 30 of those interstates that go north-south, so sue me for not knowing them.
Hey, there's an interstate in Hawaii.
There is, which makes no sense because it's outer states. But is there one in Alaska?
I'm sure there is. I think every state has one.
But those ones should be called outer states and not interstates.
The reason they call them interstates is the federal government will pay for them that way.
Yes.
We learned that when I was in Hawaii.
And odd numbers go north-south. Even numbers go east-west.
That is correct.
Or west-east, depending on which way you're driving. I want to wrap around back to the Toronto Maple Leafs because this is the story. I mean, the Oilers are in the playoffs, and I feel like a lot of Canadian media forgets that every now and again. And a lot of Canadian attention forgets that every now and again. And I feel bad for the Oilers because the Maple Leafs have finally made it into the second round. And that's big for me to say. I feel bad for the Oilers. But they didn't get swept. The Maple Leafs did not get swept. But if they only win one game, can you really call that a success with this group?
I say if they do not come out of at least the second round, they don't have to win the third, but if they don't come out of the second round, there's going to be changes made in Toronto. And I mean big ass changes made in Toronto.
Does Kyle
Coaches,
Dubas,
yes.
the GM, loses his job? Sheldon Keefe is gone. I think you're also looking to trade a Marner. You're looking to trade a big name player.
Yeah, there's going to be shakeups like they haven't seen before, because they're expected. They rebuilt. They have that. They've already gone through what the Canucks are going through.
Yeah.
The retooling. Now it's time to shake it all up and
bringing up the
back
comparison.
out.
I made a comparison to the Toronto Maple Leafs in round 1 to the Canucks, because in 2011, the year we went on the run, in the first round, we beat the Chicago Blackhawks. And that celebration, the like, I can feel it right now just talking about it, the relief and that feeling of we slayed them, we defeated them, we finally, after
the stanchion goal?
No, that was the stanchion goal was against San Jose or Nashville. The Alex Burrows, it went. So if you don't remember, 2011, going into the playoffs, the Canucks had been eliminated by the Blackhawks like 3 years in a row, and it wasn't always the first round. It was sometimes the second, sometimes
always.
The first. One time it was the third round.
Hated them.
There's not a lot of rivalries that I can say the Canucks have had. That was a true rivalry where the players clearly hated each other on the ice.
Yes.
Going into Game 7, because of course we couldn't do anything the easy way. Going into Game 7, the Canucks were up going into or in the third period. They were up. I believe they were up going into the third period, and Patrick Kane ties the game shorthanded to push the game to overtime. Into overtime, Alex Burrows picks off a play where it was just a sloppy pass by I don't know who on Chicago, and just snipes it past Corey Crawford. And the celebration from that team was as if they won the Stanley Cup.
Oh,
it was just there was a monumental weight lifted off the team. They finally beat their arch rivals. And Toronto didn't really have a team, even though I'm sure they would have loved to have done it against Boston.
Oh, yes.
Their rival was the first round, and they celebrated like they won this. Like, look at the way they celebrated. It felt like it was a big event. The Canucks capitalized on that energy. The Canucks and the organization.
The stanchion goals, I had to Google it, was when that made them go into the finals. Yeah.
Yes. So I was thinking when Toronto scored that goal, put themselves into the second round, that they'd capitalize off of that momentum like the Canucks did. Because I truly believe that win really catapulted the Canucks into the second round.
Yes. Oh, well, I think it set the stage for the whole 2011 run. And
that's what I thought Toronto was going to do here. And instead, they have looked out of sorts. They've looked like they're the pressure has gotten to them again. It looks like the last year's round 1 Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yes. It was funny because I watched Game 3. Yeah, it was Game 3. I watched the first. That was last Thursday. I watched the first period with Rod Peterson and Darren Dupont.
That was not game. That was Game 2. That was Game 2.
Was that game?
Because they went down. They've been down in Florida for Game 3 and 4.
That's right. Yes. So it was Game 2, and anyway, Toronto came out in the first period on fire. Like, they were knocking people. I think there was 40 hits. Remember, we talked about it on the podcast. 40 hits in the first period. And in the first 5 minutes of the game, it looked like Toronto was going to get 96 shots on net. It was insane. And then I was driving home, and the second period happened. Giveaway. Boom, goal. Giveaway. Boom, goal. It was a tie game.
Yeah, and it happens like that with Toronto. Same with Edmonton. These teams that have really high-end, potent offense from a couple of big-name players if they're
Yeah.
not feeling it or something happens, boom, it crumbles.
Yes. And that's why Edmonton's never gone that far, because they are that high potent offense. And if it's not firing, you don't have a lot to back it up. Your
This year
defense
they do.
isn't that great. Your goalie isn't that great.
This year, I disagree with Edmonton on that one. Toronto, 100%.
Yes.
This year, Edmonton this year, the trade they made to get Ekholm,
Yes.
and the signing
Huge.
of the emergence of Stuart Skinner and having Matt Murray as like a 1-2 combo. I think they have a chance to beat the Kings. They already beat the Kings. The Golden Knights.
I would love it.
And have a chance to go into the Western Conference Final as a heavy favorite against either Dallas or the Kraken.
It's going to be an interesting week. That's for sure.
It'll be fun.
I love it. I love playoff hockey, even though I don't watch it a lot. I love hearing the updates and just the excitement around a game, and you can feel it. I would love to have Calgary. If it wasn't, I obviously want Vancouver first, but I'd love to have Calgary in the playoffs, because we live here, and the excitement in a city when you've got a team in the playoffs is second to none. And I like watching it. It's fun to see, and I'm such a people watcher, and I love watching people's reactions and how they react to things. So it's been cool.
How is it already almost 8:00? We're run out of time here, and I know you wanted to discuss an update to the SFU situation yet again.
Yes, I got an email. I meant to mention this to you. I get email updates on the SFU situation. I got an email at 2:00 this afternoon. The injunction was denied, which everyone expected. They didn't expect it to go through. It was more of a symbolic, we have to do something. But the SFU Football Alumni Society had a 30-minute meeting on the evening of May 10th, that was yesterday, with President Joy Johnson. We believe SFU will work with us on a path forward to reinstate football program for 2023. However, we need to keep up the polite, I love the way they do that. Every email says a polite public dialogue and pressure to ensure the process continues. So next steps, evaluate support for a competitive exhibition game opportunities for the SFU student athletes in 2023, and the potential for new operating models in league in 2024. So finally, some good news out of that idiotic situation. Looks like SFU is going to be playing football this year.
And on Thursday, which is today, SFU appointed Bob Copeland, Senior VP of McLaren Global Sports Solutions, to serve as special advisor to explore future football options. Not only was this signed off by SFU, clearly, it was also run by the SFU Alumni Association, which is what I thought you were was going to talk about in that email, is that they now have their special advisor.
Nice.
And the special advisor themselves it has said it's hard to evaluate things when there's not things happening.
Well, it's impossible. How can you evaluate anything when there's nothing to evaluate? It's it's like go find a needle in a haystack, but there's no haystack.
Well, I mean, it's easy to find the needles then.
Right? It's like it doesn't make sense. But golf clap. I'm happy.
It's something. It's moving forward.
It's the first positive step forward in this impossible situation we've had. So good on them.
Big thing.
Oh, yes.
Monday, May 22nd. There's going to be some changes to the podcast. Good changes, though, because for the CFL season, recording on a Thursday is not always feasible, as there are games going on, and we want to be able to give you guys the best coverage possible. So starting Monday, May 22nd, we will be recording this podcast just like we do right now on Mondays.
Live.
7 to 8 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Social media is not yet invented. We will be there when they go live.
Yes.
Because we want to give you, everyone who is a CFL fan, the best experience. The best way to do that is to talk after every single game is played. Now, there are going to be occasions where, like Labor Day, games are on a Monday. In those situations, we will push the podcast either back a few hours until the games are completed, or we will move to a Tuesday. That's something that I just came to a decision by myself right this second.
Well, I think most games that are on the holiday Monday are in the afternoon, so it shouldn't be like pushing it to 10 o'clock. But I want to make a statement, and I have to make it because when there's a game on a Monday and we do the podcast after the game, I cannot be held responsible for what I say.
I can hold you responsible for things you say.
Pardon me?
You heard me.
No, I didn't. That's why I said pardon me.
I can hold you responsible for things you say.
I will be drinking at the game. So if I'm doing a podcast in the evening, I'm just saying I can't.
Well, there might be.
Guarantee I'm not going to be a little bit grumpy.
There might be. I'm not trying to think.
Overly happy.
Because Labor Day is the first one I can think of. July 1st is.
Or Monday, the May 22nd game.
Well, that's a preseason. That's a preseason game.
Still be drinking.
Well, no. I'm thinking July 3rd. I don't know what the schedule looks like. I will have to take a look at the schedule. The BC Lions are playing a game on July 3rd, the Monday. Maybe we'll do a live in the same room podcast.
Oh, wouldn't that be something?
Little idea I'm throwing together.
Wouldn't it be
That's
cool
a Monday.
To take the show on the road?
I think it'd be great to take the show on the road.
Yeah, we could be in Vancouver for a game.
Or we could go to Edmonton for a game.
We can go to Edmonton for a game. Why not?
And with Edmonton, I mean...
Are we going to be in Edmonton in July?
July.
That might be interesting.
July 5th and 6th, we will be up in... Hey, I just realized that's going to be a super short work week that week.
Why did I think it was July 15th? I keep thinking July 15th. But it's July 5th.
July 15th is the Calgary date.
Oh, okay. So,
but everyone, we've gone very sidetracked.
Now we're just gabbing.
Next week, we will not be live anywhere. There will be no show put out. We are taking 1 week break. We're doing this to basically reset ourselves. The old man has decided that football games are more important than doing anything else.
Wow.
So we will be live Monday, May 22nd for what I'm calling season 2. This was no. We're rebranding. We're redoing this. We're keeping that part in. We're calling this part season 1. But the bit before this was like preseason. We got our training wheels off. We're feeling comfortable. So let's change everything.
How many downloads of our podcast have we had, Jake?
We have had over 50,000 of you beautiful human beings listening to this. Listen to the podcast, not just live viewers. Not
50,000.
50,000.
That's amazing.
That's Good more stuff. People that. That's more people that lived in Airdrie when we moved to it. Think about that for a second.
Wow, that's double. That's more than double the amount because it was 22,000 when we moved here.
Yep.
Wow.
So we're going to keep things rolling. We're going to keep things going. And it's because of you, beautiful human beings who support us. And you can support us.
If you thought our hockey coverage was cool, you ain't seen nothing yet when we get into our football coverage.
Well, and support us by going to thehughsports.ca, by going to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, every other platform that we have at HSP_pod. You can follow me. This is new. This is the first time I've said this. It's at JStreams on Twitter, spelled JEH Streams. That's my official Twitter.
J'_EH, is it not?
There's no apostrophe. No, you can't have special characters in your, Twitter handle.
Sorry.
No, you can also find me on Twitch at that exact same name, JStreams.
Where I play
JEH, because they call me Jay and I'm Canadian.
A.
Old man, where can we find you?
You can find me posting things on HSP Podcast Facebook. You can find me at just Kevin Hughes. And And yeah, keep paying attention, guys. We're going to be turning the corner here. This has gone way bigger, isn't it? Sorry, Dom
Oh,
is
yes,
isn't it
Dom
J
is correct.
Stream now?
No, it's J Streams here because J Streams was already taken. So J Streams here is a Twitch channel. Thank you, Dom.
Wow, he doesn't even know where he's streaming or peeing or anything.
I don't have to look. I don't have to go to Twitch and look it up. I just hit the go live button.
Well, no wonder you're not getting. Never mind. What was I saying?
Where they can find you on social medias.
Oh yeah, I said it already.
If you are listening, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell the mailman, tell your Uber driver,
tell somebody.
Tap. If you're listening in an Uber right now, I want you and I want Twitter results. You can tag it at HSP Pod Uber. Tap your Uber driver on the shoulder and say, "Hey, do you like sports?" If they say yes, or if they say no, you should say you should check out Hughes Sports Podcast. And I just want to know what the response is from your Uber driver, because I think it would entertain me, and that's all that really matters about this. If you are listening again on podcast, give us a 5-star rating, leave a comment, do whatever you want. We will be here not next week. We will be here Monday, May 22nd, 7 p.m. to discuss, I guess, a preseason football game.
And I'm going to give Jake a script so he doesn't go off the rails.
You should read me reading scripts. You beautiful people have a wonderful night. We will see you May 22nd.